So, it's a new year. It's a new you. The coffee tastes just a little bit better. Your muscles feel looser. Your Instagram feed looks better than it ever has been. You just landed that amazing, great gig at work. And the argument with your partner a couple weeks ago was just so last year. The year looks and tastes and just feels bright. You've got that excitement in your gut that tells you should probably note a couple of the things that you want to accomplish with this great new horizon. And you end up with a page long of ambiguous to-dos and wants, stretch goals. It only takes a couple weeks until you find yourself staring at your page of dreams and aspirations, which were buried under some books and some bills and just the chaos of life. There's always next year. I mean, after all, it's not really a new you, right? The date just changed from 2021 to 2022. So the goal of this video is really to help break down the goals and the dreams and the aspirations that you wrote down on the first weekend of January, and breaking it down into tangible, practical, pragmatic, day-to-day or week-to-week or month-to-month steps. Because I think too often we find ourselves drafting these lofty goals like, I want to get healthier, or I want to exercise more, or I want to learn a new language, or I want to get better at photography. But like, what does that actually mean? How do you define those things? What's your measurement of success? What's your success rate? And how often are you finding yourself failing or not? So one of the ways that I like separating my goals are into kind of a personal goal bucket and a business goal bucket. And within the personal bucket, I kind of put goals for my family, my relationship with my spouse, my kids, personal goals like staying fit or learning a new language. One thing I particularly do that kind of got me into this whole video photo arena is stock video. Last year I saw quite a bit of growth in my stock portfolio on an agency website. I use Blackbox. And so one of the business goals that I have is to double my portfolio there. It's an aggressive goal, but I think it's doable. Another one is I want to reach a certain level of subscribers on my YouTube channel. Another stretch goal, but I think it's doable. A third business goal that I have, since I have my Part 107 drone license, is to start getting more into commercial real estate, photography, and videography, and kind of test the waters out there. So those are a few of my goals and kind of how I separate them at the beginning of the year. Personal and business. I implemented some of these steps, I think, throughout last year, and I found some moderate success, and I wanted to share them. So it's going to be a little different than videos past, but I thought this was valuable to share. And so here are the 7 steps for staying motivated with your New Year's resolutions. So step 1, and this is by far the most important step, is you have to give yourself room to fail. What I mean by that is if you have a goal and it's broken down by week or by day and you don't happen to get it done that day and you just get frustrated and you're like, well, I might as well give up on it entirely. There's always next year. You just have to block that mentality out of your mind, and you have to be willing to miss. You can't be on 100% of the time, right? Failure, I believe, is just kind of part of our life. It's kind of part of human nature. Remind yourself that even if you miss a day or even if you miss a week, that's okay. Stick with your goal. Don't let failure be the reason to stop trying. So step 2, and I kind of already alluded to this in the intro, is you have to write them down. You've got these ideas rolling around in your head and you're like, oh, wouldn't it be cool? Wouldn't it be nice? I've always wanted to do that, or I've always wanted to get better at this. Once you put pen to paper, or you write them down on some note cards, or you type them up, then you begin to visualize them. And visualization is one of the most important ways of kind of turning an idea into reality. So I would strongly recommend that you write them down in some way, shape, or form, that you share them with someone, partner, your family, close friends, I don't know, but have some certain level of accountability so that not only you yourself, but someone else knows, hey, this is what I'm trying to achieve this year, and I'm excited and nervous about it because, yeah, it's a lot. I don't know if I could do it, but like it would be really cool. So writing them down, documenting them, and capturing them in some way is a really important next step in turning those into a reality. Step 3 would be defining your terms of success. What I mean by that is, if your goal is, I want to learn a foreign language. Like, what do you mean by learn? Like, do you want to become fluent? Do you want to learn 5 words? Do you want to be able to talk about your hobbies in a foreign language? Do you want to be able to take a trip to a foreign country and interact with people? What do you mean by learn, right? That's what I mean by define. And the definition can be as easy or as difficult as you'd like it to be. If your goal is, I want to learn a musical instrument. If learning to you means, okay, by the end of the year, I want to be able to play Canon in D or Fur-Elise or whatever the case may be, define it further and let that be the terms of your success, because now you're giving yourself goalposts and you're visualizing, okay, if I can get here by the end of the year, then it's a win. Then I know that it's been a successful year for me. So defining your terms is a really important step in making sure that you can turn those goals into actionable items. Step 4 would be determine your occurrence rate and make it reasonable. So occurrence rate is it going to be daily? Is it going to be weekly? Is it going to be monthly? I wouldn't suggest going any larger than monthly. I think that having a shorter amount of time to be able to check in on your metrics, quote unquote, allows you to stay on track a lot faster and allows you to adjust and pivot a lot faster than checking in on your goal every 3 months. Step number 5 has a lot to do with step number 4, and that being break them up into bite-size pieces. Once you've determined your occurrence rate, whether you're measuring something on a daily or weekly or monthly basis, break them down even further. So what I mean by that is breaking that goal of getting better at photography all the way down into this measurable piece of, I'm trying to get out in the field 4 hours every weekend. That's kind of a bite-sized tangible piece that I can plug into my calendar, and depending on how chaotic life is that week or weekend, I may be able to hit it, and I may be able to hit it pretty consistently, but at least I can measure it, and at least it's something tangible I can have to check in and look forward to. Another example I would give for the goal of learning a foreign language, breaking it all the way down, again, defining your terms, setting an occurrence rate. In this example for me, the occurrence rate is daily. Define it further by daily, and I've set kind of a 60-minute daily task for learning a foreign language. So that's, listening to podcasts or Audible or music, just studying the language in a hardcover. As long as I hit that 60-minute mark of doing that every single day, then I know that I'm actually making tangible progress toward my overall yearly goal. I've now turned the goal into a daily checklist item that I can be accomplishing in a reasonable amount of time every single day. One of the reasons why I really like only setting like a 60-minute time frame or a 90-minute time frame every single day is because if I were to think about studying a foreign language for 4 hours a day, it just sounds really daunting to me. And not only is it, well, I don't know if I have time because all this other stuff is going on, but also I don't have the energy because all this other stuff is going on. So I really like, on the daily metrics, I like going really no longer than 60 minutes or like 90-minute blocks, because that way I know that within an hour, regardless of whatever else has happened that day, I know that I've checked off that item and I've gotten that much closer to achieving this goal. All right, so step number 6 would be pivot as you need throughout the year. We've seen the world change in the past 2 years and everything kind of get turned on its head, and life happens and chaos happens. Be flexible to be able to adjust your goals, and the occurrence rates and your success rates throughout the year is really, really important. But also, if you find yourself if you find the goal that you set being too aggressive or too relaxed, then change it. Have the willingness to change it. If you find that 90 minutes of studying a foreign language every single day, 5 days a week is too much, trim it down. If you find that trying to spend 4 hours doing photography out in the field every weekend is too little, crank it up, turn it up to 7 hours. I don't know, but it's up to you. The most important thing about this step is to realize that if you are not hitting your goal consistently, then adjusting your goal down or making the goal lighter is better than just giving up on it entirely. If 90 minutes, 5 days a week of learning a foreign language is too much, then instead of just throwing that goal out the window and just forgetting about it until the next year, make it 30 minutes, make it really light, make it 15 minutes a day. So as the year progresses, I would encourage you to kind of evaluate consistently along the way and tweak as needed, because that's going to help you, again, stay focused and stay consistent with hitting each one of these goals throughout the year. So the last step is to look back on your goals, whether it's this year's or last year's. I think it's really important because it gives you perspective on kind of a macro level that you're able to realize, wow, like I achieved that and like I didn't think I could. I think it's really important to realize that, because when we've set our goals and we've got our blinders on, we're in the daily or we're in the weekly monotony of life, it's sometimes hard to kind of look up and be like, wow, it's July and I set this goal back in January and look at how much progress I've made. We don't always see that. All we know is I need to study 60 or 90 minutes of foreign language a day, or I need to spend 4 hours out in the field, or I need to go on 3 walks a week, or whatever your goal is, right? It's so easy to get caught up with keeping your head down and just plugging away through life as the weeks tick on by. Take a step back, look at it from a macro level, take your goals at the end of the year, look at last year's goals and be like, wow, like I achieved a lot. But it's also going to give you encouragement and I think motivation for setting next year's goals, because you can see all that you accomplished. Yeah, you made some tweaks along the way. Maybe you didn't hit this goal as hard or as successful as you would have liked, but you still kept a track record throughout the year, and at least you kept at it. And that's really important to realize when you look back on your previous goals. So some of you might be thinking this is an overly analytical and super dry way of kind of approaching your goals. And I completely agree. If you have a system that works for you, if you have an app that works for you, if you're able to establish really good habits and consistently do them, that's awesome. That's really awesome. There's a lot of right ways to do things. And I just really wanted to offer my perspective and hopefully share some value on what has worked for me in the past, just because I feel like, what's more important than helping others better themselves and succeed. So that's why I wanted to share this. I hope you got some value out of it. Comment down below if you'd like to share some of the goals that you have for 2022. That'd be exciting to see. A like would be appreciated on the video. If you're not subscribed already, please feel free and subscribe. I'm having you all keep me accountable of producing consistent content on this platform this year. I think this platform is super valuable, and I love being able to share with you all. And there will be a lot more photo and video centric videos coming your way soon. But thanks for tuning in, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye.